All right, FightHype.com here, joined with one of the true warriors in boxing, former WBC, WBO Unified Super Lightweight Champion of the World, Jose Ramirez. Jose, man, I saw the live yesterday on ES News. A lot of action going down between you and Regis. Just my first question to you: has the ship sailed completely, or can this fight still be made? You and Regis Prograis, realistically.
Realistically, it can still be made. The problem is that it's hard to educate another fighter to go after their promoters and demand the promoters to do what's best for the fighter. In this case, I advise Regis that sometimes it's better to take a 55% split of a bigger pie than 65-70% of a small pie. Who's next after me? Teofimo Lopez. You think Teofimo's advisors are going to let Teofimo to fight for 30%? Now we're looking at this numbers are a percentage of an unknown number. You know, I'm doing my best to get ESPN and Top Rank to support me in this fight, because they'll give a real number, and that'll give us a percentage of a real number. And like, cause I'm trying to push this fight, and I told him yesterday, he goes, well, I'm not a businessman. I leave that to other people. It's my job to fight, but we should be a businessman because this is your business, you know. And it's unfortunate he's with the promoter that doesn't have a network. I haven't gotten an offer from them. You know, they haven't tried to send me an offer because they don't have it. They don't know where to get the money. Now I understand how my promoter doesn't make business with their promoters. You know, there's a lot that could be said there, but that's not for me to say. You know, but we just should have made a better decision who he signed with when he became a free agent. On ESPN and Top Rank, on the ESPN platform, we have Josh Taylor, we have Teofimo Lopez, we have Devin Haney. After his fight with Lomachenko, if it happens, he's ready to move to 140. Those are all great names. Those are all future fights for me. I have a real number on this side of the pond. There's a minimum that protects me and my career. So I know exactly what I'm getting myself into on this side. 35% is the respect, especially when that number could be a very, very little number from anybody, and we don't know when that fight is going to happen or where it goes. There's a lot of unknowns. This is for the people that think that this is a split regarding pay-per-view. This is not a split regarding pay-per-view. This is a split regarding a purse bid. We're not even there yet. Hopefully, a network and a promoter was to come to us and say, hey, you know, I think this is a huge fight, which it is. And I think it should be a pay-per-view fight, and I think we should introduce you guys to the pay-per-view stardom. And then that'd be great, man. That'd be a group, you know, that would get me excited, you know. But he hasn't done the job, and he hasn't done the job to really push it. He's staying behind. It seems like, you know, he seems like he wants to enjoy some time with his family after a long camp against Cepeda. And he's not in a hurry to get back in the ring. You know, now I am in a hurry to get back in the ring, man. I want to be back in the ring. I want to focus on my career because of the names that I just mentioned to you that are potential fights. It's my job to be as sharp as I can to face those guys, you know. So the way my promoter looks after me, by having dates, just in case this fight doesn't happen, having a date. For example, in this case, March 25th, they're giving me a date. There's a minimum that's guaranteed. It's for anybody in my position, it'll be an easy call to make. Not because I really do want this fight. I'm trying to educate you just to understand the business a little bit, to put pressure on his advisors and his promoters, because I'm trying to get ESPN interested in this fight so they could put in a pace bet that we understand what the number is.
Right.
You know? And I think ESPN and Top Rank could be more interested if this fight is a 50-50 fight, and 10% off the top from the girls goes to the winner. If he believes it could beat me, then he'll be making 60% or 55%. If you know, I believe I could beat him, so I believe I could make 50%. You know, let the winner get rewarded. You know, I know he has a belt, bringing the network and the real money. Belts don't bring money, bro. This is the people think just because he has a belt, he's gonna bring the money. It doesn't happen. It's not boxing. Doesn't work like that. You know. But at the end of the day, man, you know, I'm tired of explaining the business side of boxing. You know, I hope he gets educated. I hope he talks to us, his advisors and his team, and hopefully they could send me an offer. Send me an offer. You know, they have their duty to the fighter to look for the best fights for him. So they have for his promoter and his manager, they should have this duty to send me an offer. You know, send me an offer and see what I think. Send me a real number. You know, don't throw me in the dark like that and expect. You know, I've been very successful in my career, in my business, but this is my business. You know, I'm not a contender, man. I'm not. You know, I became a unified world champion. I fought for the undisputed. I fought the best. That's the bottom line. You know, I promise the fans, and you were there to witness this. I promised the fans that I was going to fight the winner of the tournament, and I did. You know, in 2018, man, 2018, I had no idea who Regis was. Regis had every right, and you know this because you know enough about boxing now that to say, hey, Regis, you know, you could have pushed for a purse bid, but no, what did he do? He took, you know, I guess he took a fight from Top Ring. Top Ring gave him a fight in New Orleans before the tournament, and he went on to the tournament. That wasn't my fault. I did not tell Top Ring to do that. You know, I had no idea, man. I was a young buck learning the business aspect, learning everything, thinking winning a world title was the biggest glory. And then I came to realize that it's not, man. You know, people, you could have two belts. They could still think another fighter's better. You know, you could have one belt. People could think the real champion is some other guy. You know, belts don't bring money, bro. And it's a great thing to have. Don't get me wrong. You know, and I hope, you know, I go after those titles. You know, I get a title opportunity that's fair. You know, that doesn't throw me under the bus, and it will come. It will come because there's so many great talent at 140 and this side of the palm. You know, when Regis, I don't know nothing about his contract, but when his contract is over, and if it was to come and become an ESPN fighter or sign with Top Ring or what the promoter that Top Ring does business with, imagine, bro, we'll both be getting compensated big time. It'll be a whole different scenario. You know, and so that's all I gotta say, man. But I can't be waiting for this guy to if he doesn't really want to push this fight, you know. And the more I get compensated, the more he gets compensated. The more he gets compensated, the more his team gets compensated. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what I'm trying to do, man. But I can't be doing this shit by myself, you know. I got a job to do, and this fight is raw, and there's potential. There's a huge potential fight I could have against Teofimo Lopez in September, before September. You know, we could fight in New York City at the Garden.
What about March? I know I saw in the interview you mentioned, you know, Comey's not really the fight I want. It's more the fight being presented to me. Would you be willing to fight Teofimo March 20th?
100%, 100% with Teofimo. You know, realistically, not to lie to my fans, I don't know where he's at in his mental side of, you know, of things. You know, I know he had a tough fight against Martin. You know, I know there's a lot of doubts running through his mind right now. I don't know if his advisors think it's the right move for them for him to fight me in March. You know,
but you're game. You're down.
I'm down, and that's the bottom line. But this is that fight, Devin Haney. Also, because Devin Haney might fight Lomachenko early this year too. You know, so those two guys are definitely in my list. On my list before September, man. There's huge fights, and that's all I gotta say to the fans, man. Like, patience is virtual, bro, and sometimes the title fight will come a little later, but it'll come in the right time. It'll come with the right compensation. You know, you're not gonna box for a long time. You're not gonna box forever, man. It's your job to. This is my business, and I'm not gonna leave my business unattended. But I'm not afraid of nobody, bro, and I'm tired of saying it to the people. I don't dug nobody. I don't believe no one ducks nobody. I don't believe no one at this level of competition. One's already becoming. Look at my resume, man. One day, if one day you take the time to pull my resume since I became a world champion, look who I have fought. You know, and never complain about it once. Top Ring knows they could you know they know I never complain. Every fighter since I started my boxing career, every fighter that presented. Oh, he never had to. It was never like, oh, this fighter might have too much experience for Jose because Jose's just getting started. Hell no. I took all the fighters. I took all the fights at Top Rank percent. I was one of the easiest fighters to work with when it came to with my matchmakers at Top Rank. You know, because they believed in me. They saw the will that I have. You know, and I still have it, man. And I can't wait to show it. I gotta get my ass in the ring and start fighting, man. And the fans eventually will understand what I'm saying. But you know, again, man. I can't. It's not my job to educate another fighter. It's not my job to educate the fans on how the thing works. There's not a percentage regarding a pay-per-view. Man, that'd be awesome if we're talking about a pay-per-view. Yeah. On top of it, guaranteed, imagine if 35% of a pay-per-view, man. At 35%, I'll be happy. You know, if it was pay-per-view. But this is not pay-per-view numbers. This is just on a minimum guaranteed unknown number, you know? It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. So
I know there's a lot of other reporters waiting to talk to you today, so I'll kind of close on this and forgive me, man, because it gets complicated and tedious when we start talking about the business and not the punches being thrown in the ring, right? So forgive me if I'm a little uneducated with some of the questions, how they come off. But let's say I know you pitched the 50-50 and the winner gets the ultimately the 10%. But if they say, you know, no, we'll get you from 35 to 40. And that meets or exceeds your minimum that you're guaranteed for these fights, which I imagine is $1 million or $1 million plus. If they can get you to that number, where it's not the greatest number in the world, but it is the number, if that works, will you take the fight? And also, second question with that is,
100%. Top Rank knows it. I spoke to Top Rank. I spoke to my manager. They know how much I want this fight. Yeah, but unfortunately, when there's no network behind this fight, you know, what are we looking at? You know,
if they can guarantee, if their side, because he did wind up fighting Zepeda on a fringe app, you know, that didn't get a lot of viewership, but
they lost $4 million. They had 7,000 pay-per-view buys.
But if their checks are guaranteed, the fighters, will you fight on a network like that? You know, as long as they guarantee the check.
100%. It's our job to promote the fight, and it's our job to promote the fight. And I think this job is so badass, man. People want to see it. Yeah, as long as you bully compensated, brother, it don't matter where we fight.
That's all we want to hear, man. Do you think there? And then lastly on that, do you think there's a chance? I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble, but that there's a chance these fighters on platforms like that are getting paid more than is being disclosed to the commission, and that's part of why they don't want to do the ESPN and that route.
Listen, man, I think there's a possible chance, but I think a lot of this subscribers, a lot of this streaming, they're looking at boxing because of what some of the influencers have done in the sport of boxing. They're looking at it as a potential investment, but they're seeing that they've been losing most fights. They've been losing a lot of money most fights. We're to the level that now they're backing off. They're backing off unless you're a Mayweather and they have like a wealthy guy in Saudi Arabia or the other side of the world, and unless you're an influencer with millions of fans and followers, they might take the risk, but those fights are then being presented into pay-per-views. You know, they get put on into pay-per-views, but for the most part, they're losing big money. They're losing a lot of money. So that's the problem, man. I wish I could go out there and legally have the right to go out there and see the interest of what people are willing to bid, man. But I can't. I'm legally cannot do that. You know,
contractually not allowed to.
I'm not allowed. My team is not allowed to do that.
And I think some people are like, well, at least maybe let the purse bid happen. Maybe they pay a ridiculous amount of money, and that 35% is going to be $2 or $3 million. But you can't do that. Is that what I'm hearing?
I can't. I can't be waiting that long and for that to happen, man. Usually, behind the scenes, a lot of it is done behind the scenes. You already know what a promoter is going to come and bid. You already know what a network is going to come and bid. You already kind of have an idea. This unfortunately, there's nothing. You know, there's nothing because the one major problem is Top Rank's doesn't make business with Probellum.
Right, because the MTK fallout.
Yeah, and Probellum is not. Probellum is not steady. They're not steady. You know, Probellum, they don't have a network behind them. There's no money behind them, you know. So I can't guarantee that. I think their bid against Cepeda and Regis was $1 million. And one fighter. You know, so I can't. You know, you have to be realistic. You can't just be a naive person and go out there and not understand where I'm at. You know, I seen enough, brother. I heard enough. I have a great team. We try to do our homework, you know, as legal as possible, you know, and try to do a homework. But yeah, man, if a network comes, if Triller comes, if Mob Nation wants to, which they're not, but because they lost big in the last fight, so, you know, in the last fight. But if there's any network, any live streamers like that are interested in this fight, and they give a $4 million offer, a $5 million offer with a 35%, which I think it should be 40. I told the ESPN, I told my company, I take 40% if it's from a pie like that, you know. Dude, bro, I take 25% if it was a pie from a $20 million pie. And let me just make 14 million. Let me make 6. I don't care. That's enough. But come on, bro. You know, you have to be realistic. You know, it's like they try to compare this fight with like Tyson Fury and Dylan White. Man, those are big $20 million pies, bro. You know, like it's not the same. I wish it was. It's not.
Well,
but that's the reality, the truth, bro. And if it doesn't come, I'll wait for Regis to become a free agent. You know, there's 2 fights I have left with Top Rank. I might resign with them if they offer me good fights with Teofimo and Devin Haney. There's a possible chance that I might resign with them. There's, you know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I think there's, you know, I do have options. I don't need Regis. You know, at the end of the day, I don't need them. But the number one thing, brother, is I'm not afraid to fight nobody. I don't duck nobody. I don't think no one in this level of competition ducks nobody. Come on, bro. No one ducks. No one at this level ducks nobody. No one. That shit. That shit is a term that was invented by haters. I have nothing else to say. You know, the difference is that now once you get to this level, you kind of understand your value, right? And that's the difference of this level as opposed to when I became a world champion for the first time. When I became a world champion for the first time, you know, I was just trying to fight, and then you realize, you know, you get educated and you realize your potential and what you bring into the promoters, what you bring into the network. When I'm bringing in an average of 1.4, 1.6 million views, you know, on ESPN, when you become a fan-friendly fighter, when you sell out arenas, you realize all that money you're generating. You can't just be a fool and be like, oh, look the other way and just fight. Come on, bro. You got a family to feed. I got a family to take care of, man. I'm not trying to fight until I'm 45 years old, 44 years old, man. There's a lot of ventures, and I'll be young enough. I know in the sport of boxing, 35, 36, you're not the youngest, but in life, you're still very young.
Mm-hmm.
And I only turned 30 years old, bro. I got a 5, 6, who knows, you know, 7 years of window to maximize my earnings, to maximize my potential in the sport of boxing. And that's what I'm trying to do, bro.
Hey, Jose, thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you so much, brother. And congrats on being a newly married man. And best of luck to you, brother. See you fighting in March, man. Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you.